please.
You'll have to turn your volume down.
I'll just make
on
sure
the
it's...
group now, so I can just see if we are on there. Oh, there we are. Oh, Mark, have you made it public? Because I can't share it.
How did we do this before? Because no, I couldn't. I can't make it public.
Can you share the StreamYard link to Claire's Messenger?
All right. I'm being idiot.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I've got it. I've managed to copy link, so I'm just going to post that on the group now.
There we go.
Do you want your questions first from the members, or do you want the poll answers?
We'll do it. Well, we could just do a mix, can we? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just do a mix.
Okay.
We've got anybody watching? We've got four people watching already. Hello, everybody. Introduce yourselves. I can see your comments when you put them up. I just can't answer them.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. I need to watch the live on mine so I can see what people are asking us.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've done a live. I can't remember what to bloody do.
I know. I think I'm just going to let Zoe run with these because she is always messaging me. Do you want to do a live this weekend? Do you want to do a live that weekend? And do you know what? I feel really guilty every time I have to say no.
Oh.
And he forgot today. I had to message his wife.
I forgot. She had to message with my wife. This is what I mean. Normally, I've got my phone on me. My boy's had my phone all day today. He's literally been on my phone playing a new game all day. So I haven't even looked at my phone all day. And normally I've got Zoe reminding me from about 12 o'clock in the afternoon onwards. Oh, the live tonight. I'm like, yeah, I'm normally on top of it. But today, no, I wasn't. I was like, no, I forgot. Hand up. I forgot about it today.
How could you forget? How could you forget us, Mark?
You forgot about
us. Oh, who we got? We got. All I can see is Facebook users. Who we got? People.
Annette Mills says hello, and Mark Bufton says I'm here. Obviously.
Hi, Annette. Obviously, Mark's going to be here watching. I dare say my lovely wife will be on at some point as well.
Hello, guys. Hello, people that are watching.
Yeah, we're up to 5
days. Nice weekend so far.
Right. So I think basically all we're doing today is we've got a few questions. Come through from some of our group members, and we're going to be reading them out and trying to answer them as best we can. And on top of that, I think we're just going to have a general chit chat about what's been going on, especially with what's been going on. Not much has been going on because of the COVID, but just what we've got planned, what Claire Evans got planned with her team as well. I'd like to touch on a bit of a ticklish subject today, and I haven't given these guys any warning of this at all. But it's our thoughts on the paranormal industry itself when it comes to things like bullying that goes on within it all. Yeah, because I've been doing this running a team. I've been doing this for 15 years, but I've been running a team for about 2.5 years, and I'm starting to notice a trend in this last 2.5 years of doing this, of not so much of a friendly side to the industry. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that.
Yep.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I find it. I mean, I'm sure every industry has its issues, but
of course,
I think, and even not even just with the paranormal, but also within the spiritual field as well, is unfortunately, yeah, there is a lot of it out there, and I think it kind of goes from being a hobby to being something that you enjoy to being maybe a business or a job, but then it becomes almost like this claim to fame, this ego trip, this power hungry sort of attitude that comes along with it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's no harm in wanting to be successful. I want to be successful with my business, I really want it to be one of the ones that people will know, but I won't disrespect, be rude, or tread on anybody else to bloody get there. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's not worth it in the end of the day. And the way I try and look at it is, we're all after the same goal. Every paranormal investigator out there who runs events, or whether you don't run events, whether you just do private investigations, your goal is exactly the same as each other's. You're all trying to prove existence of life after death. That is the one and only key factor of the reason we do this. So I think there should be a lot more, and this is what I like about things like Power Unity and things like that. There should be a lot more collaboration between teams, and that's why I love working with Claire. That's why I love working with Nigel, because we collaborate and we're on chat quite a lot during the week as well, just basically picking about with each other. It's great.
Yeah. We all learn. It's nothing that you can go to school and learn about, is it? Nobody gives you a book and says this is exactly how the paranormal field is. We all learn from each other, and you've kind of got to bury bury the ego. The ego has to be there because it protects us, etc., etc. But you know, you've got to use it in the right way. And unfortunately, I mean, there was a big thing. I obviously can't give names or anything like that, but there was a big thing online. I believe that there was a live, a group went out live during lockdown, which is wrong anyway.
Yeah.
And I believe they had a bit of an issue with another team, and I think it got quite physical.
Wow. And this was on the live.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, it's difficult. It is difficult.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's well, apart from being completely unprofessional at the end of the day as well, you know, having a scrap on a live. Let's be honest, if you're going to have words with somebody, and I mean words, I don't mean getting your fists out. If you're going to have words and have a disagreement, the first thing you do is you turn off the cameras, you know.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Loretta says, "Hey to you all three. Thank you, Sophie, about saying that about my hair. Thank you." We've got 7 people watching.
Happy days.
Is that Loretta Young?
Yes.
Hi, Loretta. Loretta's a nutcase. I love her. Brilliant.
Yeah, and I will be touching on with Claire about all this talk I've been hearing about hobbits as well at some point.
About what?
Hobbits.
Hobbit.
I'm actually going to get. I'm thinking of changing my name on my work stuff to Baggins.
Of course, I've never met you in person, Claire. It's all been over live, but I know Zoe has, and you two look kind of a similar height in the photos.
What height are you, Zoe?
5'4".
I'm 5'1".
Oh, okay, maybe she was standing in the ditch or something. I don't know then.
I used to be 5'3", but I think it's all the running around I've done. I've kind of worn like Kim. I think
Loretta says, no, they were just scobbing off, and one lot clipped the other people's car.
Okay.
Not good.
Yeah,
I think I heard about that.
People ain't going to get on with each other. That's a fact of life. But at the end of the day, you've still got a job to do, and you've still got a kind of a level of respect to show other people anyway.
So it's all respect.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'm not going to lie. There's if people know me and know my team, you know that there is. I won't mention names, but there is a paranormal team I won't work with. I refuse to. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to go around trying to find where they are and try and do over their kit. You know, you just, you know, that's that. It's job done. I'm not going to work with you. You don't have to work with me. We don't have to speak to each other. It's great. It's fine. We'll leave it at that. But there's no, because we're not causing a conflict there, because we're stepping away from it. There's no animosity. There's no aggression directed at each other. We can get on and do what we got to do. We can get on and investigate still, and you know, and I wish them all the best of luck. You know, if they can prove the paranormal before I can, I hope they don't. But if they can, take my hat off to them, and I'll give them the credit where the credit's due. Definitely.
But the thing is as well with it, and there is somebody that's watching at the moment who will know exactly what I'm going on about. It's not doesn't just make it difficult with the teams. It also makes it difficult for other people like in the general public who don't want to get involved in any of the politics or the playground stuff. You know, they want to embrace, might want to go out with one team 1 week, go out with another team another week, because we all work differently. We all bring something very different to the table. So
exactly.
You know, as soon as you start bickering with each other and you create that atmosphere, which is then bad energy, and you know, you've got to work in good energy when you're working with anything.
Of course you do.
So it's not fair. It makes it very difficult for other people as well.
Has anybody got any opinions on this, by the way? You know, we are keeping an eye on the comments as best we can. Sorry, I can't see anybody's names. All I've got is Facebook user on my list. I can't see anybody's name, so somebody else can have
the comments for you.
Okay. Okay. Do you want to start with some of the questions then? What that we got?
Yeah. Okay. So we've got some questions, and then because we did a poll, there's some other stuff as well. But I'll start with Mark Dudley's question. Do you have a favourite haunted location?
Oh, I think anybody who's ever watched a live of mine, you already know the answer to this. It's got to be the Albert Hall Theatre in Landod. That is my go-to, especially when I first started running the team. That's where I trained my team. The spirits there are that welcoming to us. They're almost like old friends now. When we go there oh God, we mmust have been there about 7-8 times by now. Every time we go back there, they interact with us a bit more, and it's like talking to old friends. There's a caretaker there, John. Do you remember John, the caretaker, the spirit of the caretaker? When I speak to him now, I'm like, all right, John, you've been keeping yourself busy, mate. Giving it, talking like that, instead of massive respect. Thank you for coming out. I talk to him like he's an old mate now, and I just love going there. The spirits are welcoming, they're friendly. We've only ever had one bad experience there. If you want me to tell you about that, I will. Let me know in the comments. But other than that, every single experience we've ever had there has been positive and it has been fun. So I love
I'd like
them.
to know the bad experience, please, Mark.
Sorry?
I'd like to know the bad experience, please.
Okay. This was really early days. I just started running the team. I think this is possibly my second investigation running a team. We were doing some automatic writing up on the stage. And as you know, there's certain warning signs you've got to look out for. Same as if you do a spirit board, same as if you're doing glass tipping, you've got to keep a close eye out on certain warning signs. And the warning signs are if they start counting up or down from 1 to 10, or back down again, or going through the alphabet A B C D E F G. That's a spirit board. Glass tipping and automatic writing. You've got to look out. You've got to look out for rainbowing with the pen or with the glass. That's another thing you've got to look out for. It's normally a sign of something not quite as friendly coming through. And another one you've got to watch out for is it doing the letter Z constantly over and over again. So we're communicating. One of my early team members is first time she's ever done it. She's volunteered to go and have a go. I've talked her through it, what she had to do. I've stayed right next to her all the time, so I could shut it down if things start going wrong. This is on a public investigation, by the way, and it's things have felt a bit off. You know yourself, Clay, and you communicate, and you can feel when something's going off. And I was feeling that, so I could feel myself getting closer and closer and closer to my team member. And all of a sudden, it started to do the Z over and over again, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. And I just write, "Get off my table! Shut this down right now!" As soon as I said that, she flung her head back, and the most god awful sound came out of her mouth. It was horrendous. She was like, "Oh!" And this is in front of all members of the public and everything. So I was there. I had we had to shut it down. We were praying over the table. We were pushing everything away from it. Had to take the members of the public away. We had to get the team to stay with the public, as well as I had to have team members up here to help me shut this thing down as well. It wasn't nice. It wasn't a nice experience at all. But that was sorry.
Did the woman who threw, was it a woman you say threw her head back?
Yeah.
Did she have any? Did anything happen after that, or did you manage to?
Nothing followed her home. She felt really out of sorts for about a week and a half afterwards. We kept in good contact. I was checking in on her all the time, but she could no longer do paranormal investigating after that. She refused to do it again. Wow. So yeah, which so, I can't say blame her.
So like Zozo, isn't it? Like they say Zozo is
that's what I was worried about. Yeah.
See, I'm wondering actually if really his name is Oz.
Mm.
And not Zozo, it's Ozzy.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be, couldn't it?
Yeah, no, that sounds quite scary. That.
Yeah, it was. Obviously, not much scares me. It didn't scare me, but it shook up a lot of my team members, and it shook up a lot of the members of the public as well. But at the end of the day, I think, as bad as this is going to sound, but I didn't mean it to go this way. As bad as it's going to sound, that actually did us as a paranormal investigation team a lot of credit, because we had a lot of witnesses there to see it as well. Yeah. So that was the one bad experience we've had at the Albert Hall. We've had nothing bad ever since. It's all been really good stuff.
What about you, Claire? Have you got a favourite haunted location?
Yeah, well, it's funny actually, because the Ram has always been one of my favourites for many, many years, but I've got a new one now. Actually, I went to visit the Hinckley. I can never get it right. It's the Haunted Antiques and Paranormal Research Centre. And it's on 3 floors. There's not really much on the ground floor, to be fair, and it's sort of like it's on a high street, surrounded by shops, and there's a pub next door. So obviously you've got the noise pollution like through the night until about 12:30, 1 o'clock. But it's every room, like you've got like the war room, so it's got all this old war memorabilia and stuff like that, and they've got like they have like the Morse code board set up over
Yeah.
the Ouija board as well, so you can communicate with them that way. And in the back room, you've got one of Zoe's favourite rooms, the doll room, and it's all like dolls. But the interesting thing is you've got like locks of hair, and you've got like old boxes of bones and things, and at the back of the building, the seance room, you've got a lot of voodoo stuff, like original voodoo masks and memorabilia and stuff like that, and it's pretty awesome. And I believe that there's soil there from Cromwell, is it Cromwell Street or Cromwell Road, where Fred West the victims were and stuff like that. So it was just, I suppose it's because there is so much stuff there. Being a medium, literally as soon as you open up, there was just a phenomenal amount of different energies that were going on. You know, you've got shadow figures, you've got animals, you've got cryptoids and stuff like that, and obviously you've got your ghosts. It's just a hive of activity. And we stayed the night. You could sleep over, and I had one of those canvas camp bed things, and I don't know about you guys, but it takes me ages to switch off from a paranormal night to go to sleep. Lying awake for an hour and a half, and something was scratching underneath the bed. I could feel it scratching underneath the bed, and it was touching my head, and the bear was going off, lighting up and stuff like that while we were trying to sleep. So yeah, it's definitely worth going. So I've booked it 3 times next year.
Oh wow.
Brilliant.
Emily says hi guys, and Loretta Young says, what's your scariest moment, Claire?
It's funny because I was thinking about this earlier on, because I know that in the poll it came up. I think there's 2 very, very significant moments for me in my life, and the first one was when I was about 17 years old, and this thing climbed into bed with me, and it just frightened the life out of me, because I knew that it wasn't nice. The energy felt very dark, very oppressive, and I went on a bit of a people will know, most of them know this, that they've heard me talking before. I went on a bit of a, it's hard to explain, a bit of a journey after that, where I wasn't myself and whatever. And only very recently, I think it's come back, and it sort of took over. It was very, very recently, through the first lockdown, I think, where my energy was very low. I was very vulnerable. And I wasn't getting out and about. I wasn't doing my normal protection routine and stuff like that, because routine had gone out the window. And it physically took over my body again. And it's really scary. My family witnessed it as well. So I ended up in A&E. Yeah. It was really, really frightening times, really, really scary. But you know, I can talk about it now, but at the time it was difficult to acknowledge what was going on. But it's one of those things, you know, was it a dark energy? Was it this? Was it that? Was it me? Was it, you know, had I created this negative presence? Because obviously, Mark, you're a medium, you understand this. You know, when you're dealing with a lot of grief, you know, when you're reading for people, they've recently lost someone, so you've got their grief and their distress. You've got the distress of the spirit that you're connecting to if they've only just recently passed.
Yeah.
And you're absorbing all of that, and you're you know, your words are comforting, you're healing, you're giving. So as you're giving them good energy, you're absorbing all that negative energy. And I think because I was literally just sat in this room day in, day out, constantly doing up to 4 or 5 readings a day, not getting out and seeing my friend to lift me up, you know, and all that kind of stuff, I think I just flipped. I just lost it. So yeah, it was scary. And my believe it or not, my children are having counselling for it now.
Oh, bless them.
Yeah, it was horrific.
Well, I can imagine now that would be extremely traumatic for him, seeing their mum turn into something else, you know. Yeah,
and
completely.
even now, this was back in June. Even now, my husband still has to have the light on at night when we're in bed, because he cannot have the light on, because he's that terrified. So then that makes me realise, actually, if it was just me being a twat or whatever, then you know that they wouldn't have been as affected by it as they have been. So yeah, that was probably my scariest thing. And to be fair, I think for me it was a bit of a kick up the arse, because I do get a bit cocky with it sometimes. You know, I'm like, yeah, you know, nothing scares me, blah blah blah. Well, actually, do you know what? Have some of that then. Let's teach you a lesson. And it did. I put my hands up. It did make me realise that I've got to be careful.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, same question to you, Zoe. What's the scariest thing that's happened with you?
The only thing I can really think back to is when we were at the Uskin, I think.
Okay, trying to remember the Usk. Sorry. Oh, yes,
The
yeah, the
little
Usk.
boy.
Yeah,
And I think it was me and another team member were in
and
the
me.
bedroom.
Yeah.
And you'd gone downstairs to get something. This wasn't a public one. And we'd said something about, if you're here, put the telly on, or there was something like that. And neither of us were near the remote or the telly. And within a couple of minutes, the TV just came on. And this was
I
like
remember.
past
I remember
midnight.
this because I remember berating you and the other team member for not having a camera running. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. That's probably the scariest one I've ever had, because I was just so like taken back by it.
Nah, nothing scares us, Zoe. Look.
I stayed in the room though.
That's cool.
Yeah. I remember you. Well, you do pretty much all the live lone vigils, don't you? So
Yeah, I
if you haven't
keep
got
getting
over your
voted
fears
to do
yet,
this.
if you haven't got over your fears yet, yeah. Okay. Do either of you ever get people who just can't read for whatever reason? Yeah. Yeah. Um, I Claire's probably a better one to answer this one because I haven't done readings in years, absolute years. So I'll pass it on to you, Claire.
Yeah, definitely. And there could be a number of reasons for that. Obviously, the first thing you've got to be aware of is how your own energy is, if you're, because you need a certain amount of energy to be able to make that connection with the person that you're reading. But also, and the thing is, I'm at that point now where if someone's very closed off or maybe just a little bit afraid, they don't really want to open up, they hold on to a lot and they think, if I open up too much, I'm going to give too much away, blah, blah. And I'll just say to people now, look, relax, don't worry. A lot of, I suppose what I say to people is if I find I'm giving somebody information and they can't take it and I'm getting a lot of no's and stuff like that, whereas I used to get really sort of paranoid and think, oh, I can't do this, I'm crap, blah, blah. Now I just trust that actually the information won't make sense. It doesn't make sense to you now, but I trust it will do in future. And sometimes maybe that person's not ready to hear what's coming through. So spirit or guides or whatever just go, no, that they're not ready to hear this now. So yeah.
I have a very similar experience when I used to do readings. I'm slightly different. It's not like I communicate directly with my spirit guide. It's like they put pictures in my head. The best way I can describe it. Have you seen them in libraries where you can look at newspaper reels?
Yeah.
It's like that, but with pictures, and that's how it goes in front of me. It's like, and they will stop at something they want me to talk about with the person. They'll stop at this picture. If they don't want me to talk about it, they just skip straight through it. It's like gone. So that's what it's like for me, anyway. Yeah, so I don't get the whole spirit guide saying no, you don't want to talk about this. They just basically ignore it and then just give me the stuff they want me to talk about. Yeah. But like I say, I haven't done a reading, oh my word, since I was in probably my mid to late 20s. I've gone over this in previous lives. I don't read anymore because I couldn't handle the responsibility of it. I thought that I was affecting people. I know they were coming to me for help, but it was, in my eyes, I had too much power over what happened with them. If they were going to take my word for everything I was saying and I got it wrong, that really did bother me. So I was just like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. So I stopped reading at that point and just work with my spirit guides now. That's all I do.
Yeah, I do say to a lot of people, when stuff comes through in the reading, I do just say to them, look, I'm not telling you what you have to do. This is just guidance. This is, this is what's coming up, and this is the guidance that's coming through with the cards. I'm not telling you that you have to do this and you have to do that, because unfortunately, and I do understand it, I do get it, that there are some people that won't want to make a decision or a life change without going to see a psychic or a medium to have clarification that is the right thing to do. Spirit will never tell you how to live your life. That's not what they're there for. We all have a destination. How we choose to get there is very much our own doing, but they're there to guide us. And if the situation does come up, then what Spirit will do is they will give them guidance on how to get through that situation. You still got to go through that, because that's part of your journey. It's part of your lesson, but actually this is how you can transfer through that situation. So
I do remember saying quite often to try and I don't know, cover my own backside a bit, but it's something I firmly believed as well. When I did give a reading to somebody, and it was a profound reading, I would say to them, that isn't the be all and end all. You know, that might not be the outcome that does come through. This is the outcome that is coming through to me as it stands now, but things will change. There's many different forks in life, from decisions you make and decisions other people make. But as this moment sits now, this is where it's going. And this is what they're telling me. This is where it's going. But that's not to say that's still going to be the outcome that's going to happen, because there's lots of mitigating circumstances that could kick in before you get to that point.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, I love it when you give somebody a reading and then you have like a physical validation from it. And I remember, I think that there's one was yesterday, actually. I'll share with you in a minute. But the most profound one I remember was I was sat giving a woman a reading, and I said to her, I said, your grandmother is giving you a pink balloon. And literally, I swear to God, this pink balloon randomly, I've got a real like floor to ceiling window, just went past the road as if like from a party or something. And we just looked at it and went, oh my God, there's a bloody pink balloon.
That's a bit too close to Pennywise for my liking. That.
Yeah, it's good that we went a red one. But yesterday I started doing a new thing this year where I'm reading animals, like so maybe like rescue animals. They want to know their history or a little bit like that, or animals that have passed away. And it was so lovely yesterday. I read for it was yesterday, day before, I can't remember. Day before, I read for a lovely lady, and she recently lost a dog. And oh my gosh, the amount of love that came through from this dog, you know, the amount of love from animals is amazing. And she'd recently got a rescue dog, so I was reading the both of them. And the nicest thing was I said something along the lines of the dog that passed was called Miranda, and the dog that she rescued was called Hudson. And I said, Miranda there's something of hers that she says it's okay for him to have. You've not been sure whether he can have it or not, but she's given you permission for him to have it. And it was the dog's bed.
Oh.
But the funny thing was, since I said that, Hudson has been sleeping in her bed. It's almost as though it's like the energy of the dog has realized that it's okay for him to have this bed, because he wasn't sleeping it before. But now the dog has come through and said it's okay. He's now sleeping in her bed.
Oh,
Nice. Lovely.
So
Brilliant. Oh, I told you this was going to happen, people. Come on in. Quick hello.
Right. Hello. I won't show her Mark. Don't like Mark.
Blimey. There we go.
Hi, Amber.
You can say hello?
Hello.
No, I'm not going to say hello.
No.
Okay, well, you can't be on camera unless you're going to talk. What are you going to do? You can talk? Say hello, quick, because you have to get down. Say hi.
Hello.
No, just blank staring. Down you get then.
Katie Reed had a really good question.
Yeah.
She wants to know, what famous person would you like to come across in spirit form?
Patrick Swayze. Oh.
Hello, quick.
Hello.
There we go.
Hello.
Come on then, up you go. Right, can you read that question to me again, please?
Yeah. What famous person would you like to come across in spirit form? And that was Katie Reed.
Oh, that's an easy answer for me. Mine would be Robin Williams.
Yeah, I'd say that as well, to be honest.
Robin Williams. I would love to have a chat with him. Definitely.
I don't know, really. I can't really think of anyone, to be honest. There's just so many. What about you, Zoe?
I'm the same as Mark, Robin Williams, or maybe like Whitney Houston or something like that. I really liked her music. But yeah, Robin Williams.
Doris Stokes was the old medium, wasn't she? Is it Doris Stokes? Yeah, Doris Stokes.
That rings a bell. Yeah, it must be.
Yeah. And you've got what's his name? Harry from the Borley Rectory. What was his name? Harry. I can't remember his name. Oh, the real.
I can't help you. Sorry.
Famous psychologist. He was really, really famous. I'm going to look him up.
Yeah, you do that. Yeah, I'm lost on that one. I don't know who Harry is. Sorry. All that keeps popping into my head is Harry Potter, but he's fictional.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, Harry Potter.
Emily said she would have loved to have joined us, but Cara's being a pain.
Okay.
Mark says Abraham Lincoln for him, and Sophie Louise says Amy Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse did pop into my head as well.
Harry
Fair.
Price.
Sorry,
Harry Price.
Harry Price. Yes. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
Got another good question from Katie Reed. What's the funniest moment you've encountered? I'm guessing, obviously, whilst investigating.
Oh, does that
Can
have
I
to
go
be with?
first?
Does that have to be with spirit or what my team have done?
Well, my one was going to be when we were letting you do automatic writing, and I can't remember who it was with, but we just carried on chatting.
And
And
left me
then
in trance.
was it
Left me in
Pearl
trance for
or
20
someone
minutes.
came back in and said, "How long's Mark been doing that?" And we're like, "Don't know, it's about half an hour." That was funny. No, actually,
They just left me in a trance. Yeah, that was really. I really appreciated that.
another one
Yeah.
was when Darren was messing with Martha and setting her
Oh,
off,
yeah.
making her eyes light up at you. That was
Everybody and anybody who's come on one of my investigations knows I don't like creepy dolls. I don't like them. They're horrible little critters, and I want to keep away from them. And I grew up with like porcelain dolls all around my living room. My mother loved them, and they used to watch me. I hated it. It was horrendous. We were on an investigation at the Black Lion, wasn't it?
It was the one in Bilth.
Yeah, the Black Lion in Bilth. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were down in the cellars there. I'd gone out because one of my team members had called me over the walkies to go and help them, so I disappeared. My eyes got used to light again, so I've gone back into this pitch black room, can't see a thing, and I'm talking about what's going on with the other team members. Now, I mentioned Pearl, which is Darren's wife. And I say, "Oh, Pearl got me to do this." I was like, "Oh, bloody hell, can't she do it herself?" And then the doll's eyes lit up. Now this doll belongs to Pearl as well.
They're all
And
pearls,
Darren turned around and said, "Oh, she don't like you talking about Pearl." Like that. And, I was like, and every time I mentioned Pearl's name, the eyes would light up and it would beep. And I was just like, "Okay, this is doing my head in." What I couldn't see because it was so dark, he had a little stick, and every time I mentioned Pearl's name, he tapped her.
Yeah, Mark swore in front of the customers.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever sworn on a public investigation, but I was like, "You have to stay away from me." Fist up and everything. I was ready to punch the thing.
Mark, Emily's asking if she can join the live.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I'll send her a link now.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, you chat amongst yourselves.
Have you had a funny moment, Claire, when investigating?
Yeah, there's been a couple actually, but I think the funniest one had to be, we visited a place called Clophill Church. If Loretta's watching, she'll definitely know this one. It's very different now, but back in the day, it was renowned for people going up there doing rituals, witchcraft and stuff like that, and you had your hooded monk, and yeah, it's got a very, very like dark reputation. And there's an old village or something that's been buried and been hidden, and we were trying to find it and whatever. So we were walking between these two fields, and it was absolutely pitch black at night. Just all you had was literally moonlight. That was it, and there wasn't a lot of that. And as we've come walking between these two fields, and I've looked to my left, and all I could see was these dark figures, these like hooded figures.
Gosh.
And I shone my torch. What's a torch? I shone my torch, and all these eyes was looking at us. These eyes, they was like hooded shaped, black shaped, and eyes. It was a field of black cows. And they were lying down, so as their head was like that, and then their shoulders, they looked like hooded figures.
They're probably thinking, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, for like literally for like a split second, my heart was in my mouth. I was like, "What is that?" But yeah, that was funny. And the second one was recently when we did a private investigation at a friend of mine's mansion house that he has. And we were, that is the 13th century chapels in the house, and we were doing a seance in there. And I'd kind of zoned out. Where I wasn't with them, I'd gone to the basement or whatever, and I was running around in the basement with something chasing me or whatever. And then I came back and I sort of jumped. And as I kind of jumped, they all jumped. And then literally the door flew open and everybody was like, "Ah!" and jumped up in the air and screamed and stuff. So yeah, that was quite funny.
Oh,
I think. Hold on. I just want to do my funny moment.
Well,
you all had your turn. It's my turn.
No, I was just going to say, Sophie said she loved her reading from Claire. You picked up on so much.
Oh, you're welcome, lovely. Thank you.
I think my funniest moment was at the end of an investigation we did. It was at the Castle Inn in just outside Knightham. We'd finished the investigation. We were all packed. We were all packed up. We were outside having a chat, just as you do at the end of an investigation. We'll kind of mill about for about 20 minutes and have a chat, don't you? And now I had Pearl and another team member that I won't mention because I know she doesn't want me to. But they were sat in their car waiting, and I thought that they'd said goodbye to us about 20 minutes ago, and I was like looking over at their car, thinking, "Are they all right? They're having car trouble or something?" So I went up to there, and I'm looking down through the window, and Pearl has spotted me, and nothing phases Pearl. She's amazing. But this other one, she screams at a drop of a hat. It's brilliant. And I'm just looking there, literally that close to her glass. And she turns around and looks at me, just the most blood-curdling scream you've ever heard come out of somebody came out of her mouth. It was hilarious. And it was at the end of the investigation, and she was shaking. She was holding onto a steering wheel. She was like that. Oh, it was really good.
How do you guys feel like when you've been on an investigation? So let's say you got to drive back home on your own. Do you ever get that looking in the rearview mirror?
Well,
feeling, is there someone in the back seat? And then when you get home, you're in bed, you're looking around the room constantly, and because you're tired, you're seeing shadows and lights, and you're thinking, "Am I seeing? Have I brought something home?" Yeah.
Yeah, I am constantly doing that. Pretty much every investigation, because I drive home alone, unless I got sorry, I normally drop you off, don't I, those?
Yeah.
And then I head back to my place. Yeah, I would say pretty much whenever I'm in the car by myself, I am you got that little niggle in you. It's just like you're looking in the rearview mirror, and you're not going to be surprised if you did see somebody looking back at you either. You're expecting it, sort of.
You're waiting for it.
Yeah.
I've got a few here from Emma Felicity.
Okay.
She said, scariest location, scariest energy, and have you ever experienced activity in your own home?
Okay, scariest location. I can't say that I've ever really been to an overwhelmingly scary location, to be fair. I don't know if it's just me, because I know that I've had team members who have been in location that I haven't found scary, and they've been absolutely petrified.
Is there one you wouldn't do because it's too?
One I wouldn't do. I don't do cemeteries. That's what I wouldn't do. That's out of respect.
Yeah.
I won't do cemeteries. But that's not out of fear. That's out of respect. A scary one.
Or scariest energy.
Scariest energy. Pearl is the scariest energy I've ever come across. She's going to kill me for saying that as well. To be honest with you, I don't know if I'm just really, really fortunate, but in all my 15 years of doing paranormal investigations, I can honestly say that I've never had a really scary experience. I haven't. Nothing has really rattled me at all, to be fair. I'm sorry to be so boring and not make people laugh, but that's the truth. Nothing's really scared me.
Mark just put, ha, all Martha's batteries. The scariest energy.
Martha's one of the creepy dogs, by the way, if people don't know. Yeah. No.
Sorry, I was going to have you ever had paranormal activity in your home? She also asked.
Oh, definitely. We've even in the house. We've been living in this house where we are now for about 3.5 years. We've actually had paranormal stuff happening here. Nothing negative. It's all been really good. I actually ended up communicating with the spirit, and it turned out to be one of the original owners of the property. Now, this house was built in the mid to late 1800s, and we've had a chat with her, and basically she's just coming to be nosy, plain and simple, just coming to be nosy. I've probably told everybody on lives before that growing up, pretty much every single house that we lived in was haunted. That's obviously where my fascination for the paranormal came from childhood. We had so much stuff going on. Okay, I'll take it back. I have been afraid before, but as a child. Okay. When you're in the bath and somebody's knocking on the bathroom door, and you get up, open it, and there's nobody there. Now, I thought it was my sisters. I'm the youngest in my family. I thought it was my older sister being dicks and playing pranks on me. So I waited by the bathroom door, because it happened every time I was in the bath. I waited by the bathroom door, bang, 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 opened the door instantly, nobody there. And as a kid, my instant reaction was, bloody hell, my sisters can move quick. It turns out that my mum had really, really bad experiences there. She was constantly getting pinned down on the bed at night, and it was happening all the time. I saw a face appear above. I used to have one of them windows above my bedroom door. Had faces appear above that looking at me through that. You used to have oh god, bunk beds dropped. My uncle was sat on the staircase. Now my uncle was nowhere, not even in the house at the time. Mimics, yeah, everybody knows what a mimic is, where you can hear somebody calling your name, or I'd have my sister come in and say, "What do you want?" I'm like, "Well, I don't want anything," and they're like, "Well, why did you call me then?" That used to happen a lot. My brother reported having hands come out the side of the bed from underneath his bed and tickle him. Stuff like that going on in the first property. Now I think that it possibly followed, and I think it possibly followed my older sister, because wherever we moved, stuff was happening. We actually had a photograph taken of my sister, and all I can say is what looked like a cobra's head in front of her face. And before we found this photograph, I saw this photograph, I'd actually had a nightmare about a cobra being in my bed, literally a couple of nights before. Woke up screaming, swearing to God that there was a snake in my bed. I think I was about 9 or 10 at the time. And to put it this way, none of my family are brave enough to get that close to a cobra to get a double exposure. So yeah, I think it followed my older sister, and obviously we're looking at the heightened energies of going through puberty and things like that. I can rationalize it now, but back then as a kid, I was just convinced that a demon had entered our house and was following my sister. Got used to it growing up because it was I can't express it enough. It was in every single house we moved to. Something was going on in every single house, to the point where I used to get the sound of like hands rubbing on the wall right above my head, above my headboard. It used to happen every single night. Got so used to it. In the end, I remember having enough of it, and I just turned around and shouted at the top of my voice, "I've got school in the morning. Leave me the f alone." And it stopped from that point onwards. From that point on, nothing above my bed after that. I don't know if I scared it, or I got too angry for it, or it was out of respect for me that it stopped it. But it never happened again after that.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about you, Claire?
Which question, Zoe? Sorry, lovely.
Any one of them? Scariest location, scariest energy, or have you ever had paranormal activity in your home?
So scariest location, hands down, it will always be the Ram, just purely because of the reputation of the place itself, the age of it, the history, and the fact that it is reputedly that one of the most haunted places in the UK. I just love it in there. I don't know. It's one of those places, and you'll know what I mean with this, where you go somewhere, it feels like you're going back home somewhere. There's somewhere that you've been before. That's what the Ram feels like to me. So that's probably the scariest location. Not purely because anything in there really scared me. I mean, I've seen stuff in there that is bloody scary, but just because of the whole atmosphere of the place. Scariest energy, I think, weirdly. And it amazes me that it was this place. Actually, we've got Segano Church, which is not far from us, and it is the ruins of a church, and we do the graveyard there, Mark. Sorry, but it's one of the things that we do.
A lot of investigators do. It's just my own personal choice. Yeah.
No, completely, and I totally respect that. And you think with it being a church, but then like Clockhill Church was very unholy at one point. But there's nothing with Segano to suggest that it's a bad place or there's any reason to think that it has a negative energy attached to it. But I remember the first time ever going there, there's no roof to the building at all. And it was a beautiful full moon. It was a perfect night for being like a ruined church. You could see the skies clear as anything, all the stars. It was beautiful. And I remember just standing there, and I just felt this fear, this energy of fear from my toes come all the way up over my body. And I went, energy change, there's an energy change in here. I don't like it. There's something different. And we couldn't see the stars or the moon. It was like everything blacked out, and it just got so much darker. But it was almost like a wave. It came from one side of the building to the other, so hot, and it just went over. And then, I mean, I was a guest with a team at the time, and the guy there leading it started doing like a protection prayer and stuff like that, and it lifted. But I took my team there, not summer just gone, summer before, and for the first time ever on an investigation, I didn't want to be there. I wanted to go home. I just wanted to get out of there. Not because I was afraid, but I just didn't like the energy that was in there. It was making me feel very tired, very drained, almost like I didn't quite have control. And I didn't like that. Once I feel that I'm not in control, then obviously you want to get out of there, you know?
Yeah.
Paranormal activity always. But one thing I have noticed, weirdly, is that since I've taken a step back from doing the mediumship readings, I'm only doing life guidance now, I've noticed a massive change, because I think a lot of the time, so it was quite normal for me to maybe go to bed at night and the spirit who was related to the person that's coming for a reading the next day would be in my room. It's almost like they've come early, you know, they're impatient, they want to connect to their loved ones, so the house was constantly busy and stuff like that. But touch wood, for the last couple of months there's not been that much going on. It's felt quite flat. But then I don't know if that's because I'm very closed down. Maybe I'm just not picking up on it so much, or I don't know. But my girls normally pick up on things, my husband does as well, but nobody has said anything. So yeah, it does feel a bit flat at the minute. So
and I've got one more question from Katie Reed. At what point in your investigation career will you say you've made it?
Oh, when I've proven life after death. There we go. I'll answer that one. When I've proven life after death, then I've made it.
yeah, because that's the holy grail of it all, isn't it? That's the reason why we do this.
Yeah. All these experiments that we do with like the spirit board, all these different things we try, it's to eliminate the rational so we can claim paranormal, basically. And as much as I say everything that I've experienced has convinced me of the paranormal, that's my own personal opinion, and now opinion doesn't hold weight when it comes to scientific evidence. So I can't honestly say, although I know hand on heart, you know, paranormal spirits exist. It happens, you know, it happens to millions of people across the world every day. Unless we can have that evidence, we're never going to be able to convince the world that it does happen.
I think the problem that we have now, though, and this is the massive issue that we do have, is that we could capture that one piece of evidence, that piece of footage, that whatever it is, but because the way technology has advanced, it is so easy now to fake these things. That, you know, even if you do get that holy grail of evidence, you know, it's going to be so hard to prove that it's not fake. And that's the thing now. Whereas before you had to prove it was real, now you have to prove that it's not a fake.
Not Photoshop.
That's right.
Look at these photos that are doing the rounds on these.
Oh, don't get me started. So he's made me promise not to talk about this on this live.
You're perfect, Mark.
Okay, I'll shut up then.
Remember, Claire, Mark is perfect.
I was going to say we can't all be perfect, but we can't all be Mark.
No, exactly. I will take your praise and I'll put it in a box to celebrate later. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I think we've already covered this, but these were the ones that came out in the poll at the top. The first one was scariest paranormal experience, but I kind of covered that, haven't we?
We covered that,
I sent you a link of the investigations planned, but I don't know if you read it.
I did, yeah.
Planned for 2021 with both teams.
Yeah, I'll bring that up now. I'll tell you exactly what we got planned. Well, I say planned, you know, best laid plans of mice and men and all that. This COVID is really, really knocking us for six. Okay, so March, we're looking to do the Skirrid Inn in March. March the 4th, that is. Now, I can't remember off the top of my head the exact dates. I just know the months at the moment. But in April, we're looking... I was at the 6th, sorry. See, I even got that wrong. April, Goodrich Hall. May is landfill and workhouse, and we're looking at the moment Halloween, the Judges' Lodgings around Halloween time if we can, and the Savoy Theatre. But with the Savoy Theatre, we can't confirm any date with that yet because of what's going on. They're refusing to give us any dates that we can go there until they know more about what's going on with them. Yeah. So that's what we've got planned for next year, for this year so far.
Cool. So we've got quite a lot. I mean, obviously I had so many booked in last year that I've had to move this year. It's just trying to, I mean, I've been trying to get the new, I mean, even I've got one in March, but whether or not it goes ahead, but it's like, you've got to get that date in because everybody else is in the same boat. Otherwise you're never going to get in there. So we've got the Four Crosses at Cannock Chase in March with the Black Eyed Children.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
I mean, we're going there in March, but we're also going there in September as well. So I've got 2 dates for that one. So
September.
What I want to do is do the Four Crosses one night and then maybe do the Woods the following night. So maybe make a weekend of it. Yeah. Because obviously the Woods, you've got the UFO sightings, you've got so much going. That Black Dog that you mentioned, Zoe, as well. Then I've got private one, Drakelow Tunnels, end of March.
Oh, I want to go there.
Nice.
Got Dudley Castle in April, 24th of April. I've still got quite a lot of spaces for Dudley Castle in April.
Let's go.
I've got Kelvedon Nuclear Bunker on the 22nd of May, which I'm really, really looking forward to. It's absolutely huge. And then I've got, I was going to say, what Charlotte's? It's Charlotte's birthday. No, that's nothing to do with paranormal stuff. That's just Charlotte's. Got Shepton Mallet Prison in June, on the 19th of June. So that's been moved. This is the 3rd time it's been moved now. So I'm really hoping we can still go. Hinckley on the 10th of July. And then we've got Hinckley again in September and Four Crosses on the 18th of September. October, I've got East Drive.
Nice.
Wow. I want to go there.
Yeah, which will be good. I've got nothing in November and December yet, but I'm going to be calling. I've messaged Hinchinbrook House and Cranfield Hall in Nottinghamshire, and also what else is the other one? For God's sake, my memory is so bad at the minute. I literally had it on the tip of my tongue, and then I thought of the other one, but I can't remember. But yeah, lots of other places. So yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, you're very busy by the sound of it.
Yeah, there's so many I want to go to. And the last one
last year, you know, so it's, and I'd had stuff in for this year, so it's just kind of put in the 2 years. I want to take more of a step back from the reading. That was my plan for this year. Less readings, more events. You know, I've got a lot of things planned.
And the last one is places we would love to investigate.
Oh my God, how many are there?
Is Shrewsbury Prison on the list for this year? Sorry, Mark and Claire. Were we looking at Shrewsbury Prison as one as well?
We're going to look at Shrewsbury, yeah.
We are, yeah. I forgot about that one. Yeah, because we want to do a joint investigation for that, don't we?
Yeah, and Little Dean Jail as well. I want to do Little Dean Jail.
Okay.
Sorry, Mark.
That's all right. Well, the question was, where would we like to investigate? Can that be anywhere in the world?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Or
stick with the UK. It's up to you.
Well, a good friend of mine, as I was telling Zoe the other day, a good friend of mine wants us to go over to Portugal and do some investigating over there. Obviously, we can't do that at any point. Firstly, I need to get some dinero back into the coffers because we've had no income at all this year from the paranormal side of things. So that we can't even look at that until we start making a bit to be able to book the venues over there. I don't think accommodation would be an issue for the team because I'm really good friends with him and his entire family over there. So I'm sure they would be more than willing to help us out with accommodation. But yeah, there's a few places that he was telling me about. Don't ask me to pronounce them because I couldn't. But the history there, I mean, they've got so much history over in that country. They got ancient history, You know, going all the way back to the right back to the Dark Ages and things like that. Same as the UK, you know, you've got a lot of history there, but they've got more modern history to the Civil War that happened there not too long ago, to be fair. So they've got a lot of that history, and there's a lot of dark history in that country about human rights violations and things like that when they had the dictatorship there. So there's a lot of places I'd like to go there and just to check out, just having those around. I've told my friend that he has to come with me to be translator though, because my Portuguese is not as good as it should be.
For me, I'd love to do Edinburgh Castle or the vaults in Edinburgh. Shepton Mallet has always been on my to-do list. Obviously, I should have done it by now. I should have done it last year. But I would really, really like to do the suicide forest in Japan.
Oh, yes. Oh, my word. Can you imagine the feeling you'd get walking into that place?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd almost be overwhelming, I reckon. You know, I've known mediums who have gone off to places like the concentration camps in Poland and things like that. And they haven't been able to stay there. It's just been too much. They've paid all this money to go there. They've walked through the gates and literally violently sick and walk out again. They just couldn't be in there. I think you'd potentially get a similar feel there as that. I think that'd be really, really powerful.
I wouldn't mind doing the catacombs in Paris as well, actually.
Yeah. What do they call it? The City of the Dead, isn't it? Is that what it's called? Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing something like that.
Emily said she'd love to do Dracula's Castle.
Yeah. Whitby as well. Anywhere around there would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Any castle. I want to go to Romania just because I want to try the snowboarding out that way. Nothing paranormal. I just want to go snowboard on the mountains there. Was there any other questions?
No, that was it. Unless anyone's got any in the comments.
No, I see. My wife had put a comment on here before in regards to another spirit we got going on in this house at the moment. I totally forgot about. As you know, some of you know, we had a lovely little kitty cat called Nala who passed away last year. She got hit by a car. We sense her in this house all the time. I sense her all the time. My boy literally talks to her. I'm having to explain. My boy's quite sensitive, and I'm having to explain to him what's going on quite often when spirits are around us, because he's picking up on it. He's 8 years old and he's picking up on it, so it's freaking him out a little bit. So I'm just explaining to him, you know, ghosts and spirits are just people we can't see. You know, at the end of the day, you don't have to be afraid of them because they're just people and we just can't see them. That's all it is. But yeah, he has full-blown conversations with our cat that's passed. Like she's sitting there on his lap and he's talking away to her. It's mental. My wife feels her brushing up against her legs all the time around the house. And strangely, I had to check the other day where our cats were. We've got 2 other cats, and I had to check where our cats were because from my airing cupboard right next to in our bathroom, there was meowing going on in this airing cupboard. And I was like, well, just thinking my kids would lock the cat in the airing cupboard. So I'm opening it up and there's no cat there. And I'm just like, Claire, where's the cats? And she's like, they're sleeping in the baskets. I'm like, okay, that was Nala. Shut the cupboard door again. We got a little Nala spirit running around us at the moment as well.
You know, a really good way of explaining spirits to children, like something like an analogy that I use, is that if you tell them that if you light a candle, that candle will light up the room. Okay, so the candle, the flame being the physical body, but the light from the candle being the spirit.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So the spirit is what lights up the room. So just because the candle isn't there anymore, it doesn't mean the light has completely gone. So it's a nice way for them to understand.
Yeah, definitely. Emily's saying we have a spirit in their house that I believe to be my Uncle Gordon. I did the true and false questions to make sure it was him, but Cara still gets upset that he's there. And I get such an odd feeling at times in the house. It's like I said to you before, Emily, on Messenger, you know, spirits they're going to want to get your attention. If they can see you and you can't see them, they're going to want to try and get your attention some way. It's the same with where you work. We discussed about where you work. Don't be afraid of them. Speak to them, say hello to them like you would anybody else. You know, acknowledge that they're there. And once you've made that acknowledgement that they're there, it could go one or two ways. It will either they'll want to interact with you some more because you actually acknowledged them, or they'll be like, do you know what? I'm happy with that. They've actually realised that I'm here, and I'm happy to just get on about what I was doing. 9 times out of 10, when I've come across it and I've acknowledged him, they haven't bothered me again. They're just like, okay, he knows I'm here. He can see me. I can give him a wave. So yeah. It's probably just visiting at the end of the day. If it's a family member, they like to come in and check on us. Oh my word, the amount of times I had my wife's grandfather come into our house, and I'm like, all right, boss, because I call him boss because obviously he's a strange story. We both served in the same regiment. I didn't know this until I met Claire, but he was a 9th Lancer and I was a 9th, 12th Lancer. So we both even served in the same regiment. Him in the Second World War, which was amazing to find out. But yeah, so I call him the boss because obviously he was a higher rank than me as well, so it's going to come with it as well. Yeah, but family do visit. Don't worry about it. Acknowledge them. Say hello. If you want to, if you feel that they've got a message for you, just try and open yourself up to accept the message. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't see who's wrote this. It just says Facebook user. That's the last comment on there.
Hang on. Debs Harris, the one that says about I grew up with spirits around me.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Debs.
Can you read what she said?
I can, yeah. It says, I grew up with spirits around me. My family called me stupid and I was crazy. Yeah, we get this time and time again. You get called God knows how many names under the sun, especially growing up. It's your imagination, imaginary friends. It's just it's kids being kids. Put it this way.
It's fear, isn't it, Mark, at the end of the day?
Say again?
It's fear.
It is complete and utter fear. People fear what they don't understand. And let's be honest, I've been investigating for 15 years. I still don't understand exactly what's going on around me. Half the time it's still an absolute whirlwind when we're on investigations of activity. I kind of get the idea that they're sometimes they're just wanting to communicate. Sometimes they just want to play. When it comes to other people's opinions of what you're sensing and feeling, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what their opinion is because it's you who is feeling it and sensing it. Yeah. So irregardless of what they're saying it is, you know what you're feeling and go with your gut instinct. I tell my team that time and time again, your gut instinct is never wrong. Your first instinct of a situation is always going to be the right situation. Any other feelings you get after that is your brain kicking in and trying to rationalize. Your gut instinct will always be the right one to go with. So just stick with that.
I'm really sorry. I've got to leave in a few minutes for this family quiz. Sorry.
You're very, very organised in your diary, Zoe, aren't you?
No.
I did try to get it moved earlier, but Mark wouldn't do it.
All right, no worries.
Yeah,
please don't fire me.
I don't like going over an hour on these lives anyway because it's now my kids' bedtime and everybody knows when I do a live, 8 o'clock hits. That's when I have to sack it anyway because I've got to get my kids to bed. So before we vanish,
planning this, Mark, are you?
Yes, Zoe. Any other questions before we disappear, everybody? I'll leave it running for a couple more minutes to see if there's any more questions.
Mark, I was thinking that it would be good to get Claire on a live with the Wednesbury Paranormal team. I reckon that would be a good one to do at some point.
We'll have to introduce the two of them, yeah. Get them introduced first before we get them alive, I think, yeah. Yeah. Look at us networking,
Exactly, and why not? It's great because I think if you have connections with teams all around the country, if somebody comes to me from Wales, I can't get there, then I'll pass them to you guys. But if anybody is interested in any of the events that I've mentioned today, just pop me a message privately or
list them on our group. By all means, list them on our group.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. That's why we got the group.
I've put all the events on the National Paranormal Investigators Facebook page anyway, so they are all on there, so people can go and get all the information, price, dates, etc. So everything is on there. And the thing is with when we do our paranormal investigating, because obviously being a medium and teaching, I do a lot of teaching as well, like the workshops and stuff like that. If I'm on an investigation and somebody's picking up on something, I will sit with them. What do you feel? What do you get? And help them to connect to the spirit. So it's not all just me doing the work. I like to get them involved as well so they can experience having that spiritual connection with them themselves personally. So
well, that's what I love about public investigations. I actually get to take a step back. It's great. I'm like, yeah, you go off, you do your investigation, we'll guide you, but you are the ones running this at the end of the day. You're the ones who are taking the lead. We're just here to advise. Yeah.
Definitely.
I think that's it for questions then. Isn't anyone else got any more
I think it
questions?
is. We haven't had any more come through. We've had lots of keepsafes and have a lovely weekend.
And someone said, really interesting live, lots of really good stories and experiences. Loved it. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. More than welcome.
Oh, that was Linda's sister, Susan.
Okay. Thank you, Susan.
Thank
Susanna.
you.
Okay, well,
thanks for joining our live, Claire.
yeah, thank you for joining us again. I hope we're going to do many, many more, because I like our lives, because I giggle lots.
Just don't forget about it, Mark.
Yeah, I'll try and remember I'm actually holding a live and not try and rock up to one 15 minutes before we're meant to go live next time.
Yeah.
And once lockdown and everything's over, Mark, we will have that phone conversation and we'll put some venues in the diary.
Definitely.
Brilliant.
That'd be good.
Brilliant. Okay, then. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching. Keep an eye out for when we're doing our next live. I'm sure Zoe will let me know when that will be.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks a lot. Bye. Bye.